That's a big boy. He's strong. You know, you box good. You can do this. You got this over him. You're gonna have to tighten up this. You're gonna have to do this. You know, it's a conversation.
With Canelo said, I believe Canelo at one particular time thought
Floyd Mayweather's first words after training with Terence Crawford were filled with confidence as he shared insights to help Crawford prepare for Canelo Alvarez. Floyd Mayweather, widely regarded as the greatest of all time, has expressed his willingness to train Terence Crawford, having defeated Canelo Alvarez in 2013. Mayweather's experience and strategic insights could greatly benefit Crawford, especially if he steps up to face Canelo, leveraging Floyd's mastery to prepare for the challenge.
You know, I didn't have to have 70 fights or 150 fights, 300 fights. Did I not beat the most world champions?
Yes, you did.
Okay. And in the least amount of fights?
Yes, you did.
Who got the highest gate?
Floyd Mayweather.
Who made the most money?
You did.
Who was the most accurate fighter of all time?
You were.
So it's basically saying that...
The greatest of all time.
Okay.
All right.
Floyd Mayweather reflected on his fight with Canelo Alvarez, emphasizing his smaller size during the bout, saying, "I probably came in at 151 or 152. Despite the weight difference, Floyd showcased his mastery in the ring, dominating the younger, stronger Canelo with skill, precision, and experience, cementing his legacy as a boxing great.
It wasn't my idea. So at one particular time, you guys can, anybody, you can go online and pull this up. It was an article. So with Canelo said, I believe Canelo at one particular time thought I was scared of him, you know, that I was afraid. So he said, Floyd don't want to fight me. I'm willing to meet him at 152 pounds or 152 and a half. And me, I called his bluff and said, if you want to do it, let's do it at 152 or 152 and a half. And, but after Canelo made the weight, it wasn't like it was a certain clause to where he couldn't gain weight. So after he weighed 152 or 152 and a half, I think he came in like 168 or close to 170. And actually I came in at probably like, I probably came in at 151 and 152.
Gotcha.
But Roy Jones is one hell of a fighter. You know, I can't get on here and hate on his skills and knock his skills. He's been through a lot in the sport of boxing, and he's done a lot for the sport of boxing. And I'm absolutely proud of Roy Jones.
Floyd Mayweather has recently shared his perspectives on a potential matchup between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. He has expressed caution regarding this bout, suggesting that Crawford should carefully consider the challenges posed by moving up in weight to face Alvarez. Mayweather's insights are informed by his own experience. Having defeated Alvarez, in 2013, he emphasizes the importance of strategic planning and thorough preparation for such a significant fight.
Terence Crawford jumping up from 154 to 168 and beating this quote-unquote version of Canelo Alvarez would diminish the accomplishment that Floyd Mayweather accomplished beating his version of Canelo Alvarez. Is it two different versions of Canelo Alvarez? And obviously, Canelo Alvarez is 62 wins, 2 losses, 2 draws, 39 big wins by way of knockout. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. He is obviously bigger. When Floyd fought him, it was at 152 catch weight, but it had no rehydration clause. So you might as well just say it was at 154. Now, two things they have in common is that Floyd Mayweather was 36, 37 years of age. Terence Crawford is 37 years of age, going on 38. So he'll be 38 when he fights Canelo Alvarez. Floyd had already had 2 fights at 154. He had the fight with Miguel Cotto, and he had the fight with Oscar De La Hoya.
Recently, Terence Crawford and Floyd Mayweather visited the gym to watch Shakur Stevenson train, underscoring their support for the rising boxing star. Their presence highlights the strong mentorship and camaraderie within the boxing community. In a recent Las Vegas gym encounter, Floyd Mayweather humorously addressed Eddie Hearn's past comments questioning his net worth. Mayweather, who has earned over $1.2 billion during his career, lightheartedly showed Hearn some of his accounts to prove his wealth, leading to a friendly exchange between the two. Eddie Hearn was seen engaging in a lively conversation with Terence Crawford and Floyd Mayweather. The trio appeared to enjoy each other's company, sharing laughs and discussing various boxing topics.
Called me earlier, it's like, yo, when you spar, I'm gonna come to the gym. I'm like, shit, I'm gonna spar at 4 o'clock. I really didn't think he was gonna pull up, but he pulled up. It means everything, his advice and listening to him in the ring. He calling out little shit. I'm trying to make sure I do what he says, so I appreciate it.
You hear him when you were sparring?
Hell yeah, I can hear everything he's saying. He want me to box, he want me to... I can hear him, but sometimes it's like, it's hard to listen sometimes. I gotta listen a little bit more. A hell of a blessing to have Bud, Floyd, all these guys backing me, and I appreciate them. I'm just trying to keep pushing and keep getting better and better.
Hearn later shared his experience of meeting Terence Crawford and Floyd Mayweather in a training camp, revealing that it wasn't a planned visit. "I didn't go down to the gym to meet Crawford and Floyd. I was just there, and they probably heard I was around, so they pulled up," Eddie explained, reflecting on the encounter. Eddie mentioned he hadn't spoken much with Floyd before, despite meeting him several times, but found him to be quite funny. He also joked about being the one to bring out Crawford's personality, claiming he's single-handedly making him the most popular fighter in the world.
In the gym, they probably heard I was there, so they wanted to pull up. You know what I'm saying?
What was that like?
Yeah, I mean, I've never really spoke to Floyd before. I've met him half a dozen times, and we've sort of said hello and all that kind of stuff. But actually, he's a funny fucker. He is. And I'm single-handedly making Terence Crawford the most popular fighter in the world, because I am the only one that's ever brought out his personality. True or false? Like, and Terence is one of the top guys in the sport.
But even if he wasn't, you'd still say that because your business mind now is working and you're going,
I wouldn't say top. I might say top, but he's unbelievably humble. Let me give you an example. Terence Crawford is with Steve Nelson's team, okay? They are staying at a hotel, part of the Cosmopolitan Group, across the street, all right? Nice hotel.
Oh, my hotel, actually.
Yeah, okay. Nice, right, but, you know, there are many more fancy hotels in Las Vegas, okay? He has a standard room there. And we said to him, listen, do you want us to get you he could go into any hotel in Vegas and get a palatial suite. And he said, no, I want to stay with Steve for the week in a standard room. Now, to some people, they might go, oh, big deal. You know what people are like. I don't know many people that would actually do that. Floyd definitely wouldn't do that. But Terence is probably one of the most humble fighters in his position of the sport. And do you know what I love about being in environments like that last night? The love for the sport. Like, Terence is watching Shakur sparred. Shakur sparred 14 rounds. 14 4-minute rounds with 30-second breaks. And Terence and Floyd watched the entire spar. They then went to another ring and watched another, I think it's Ray Ford, and watched another spar.
Eddie Hearn further praised Terence Crawford, describing him as probably the most humble fighter in his position. Despite his status as one of boxing's elite, Crawford remains grounded and approachable, a quality that sets him apart. Hearn highlighted Crawford's authenticity, emphasizing his respect for the sport and his genuine character while breaking down this intriguing bout. Teddy Atlas questions if Canelo Alvarez can handle the smaller, faster, and slicker Terence Crawford. He highlights Crawford's superior defensive skills, better footwork, and ability to create angles, tools that could exploit Canelo's occasional tendency to slow down at this stage of his career. Teddy Atlas further asks if Canelo can still close gaps quickly, or if Crawford's speed and movement will keep him off balance. Atlas wonders if Crawford can neutralize Canelo's power by staying elusive and not allowing him to detonate his bombs.
It seems like it's not official, but it may be a done deal. Terence Crawford, Canelo Alvarez. Early thoughts? What do you think?
Yeah, look, the first thought is, can he handle the weight jump? Can he handle the weight jump? He being Crawford against Matador, people are going to say, "Oh, he had some hiccups." Who don't have hiccups? When you eat something that's a little difficult to eat, and Matador was a little difficult to eat. He's not easy to digest. He's a good fighter. When you eat something that's a little tough to digest, you get hiccups, right? So come on, he's human. So he had a few hiccups. He won the fight. He's Terence Crawford. A lot of people say, "Oh, Teddy, you make him so good. You're always saying how great Crawford is." But who's he beating? He unified the. What was his first division? Lightweight. Then he unified the junior. Then he unified the junior welter. Then he unified the welter. I think I got the weight classes right. It doesn't matter. He unified like 3 different weight classes. He moved up in weight. He's beaten anybody that they put in front of him. He beat an undefeated fighter in Errol Spence that everybody thought was just like, one of the best fighters out there, which he was. He was one of the top fighters pound for pound out there, and he didn't just beat him, he dismantled him. He might have ruined him. We were talking about getting ruined in fights earlier. He might have ruined him. We don't know. He hasn't been back yet, Spence. He may have psychologically, physically ruined him, but he has done everything asked of him, and he's done it in a superb way. It's not that he's just won. I look at how people win. How versatile are they? How mentally together are they? What happens when they're tested? What happens when they have to make an adjustment? I look at all those things. What happens when they can't depend on power? What else do they have to depend on? I look at everything, their technique, their defense, their offense, all of it. And I look at Crawford as one of those special guys. I don't care if you guys are tired of me saying it. I look at him. Look, Canelo's special too. I get it. And he's bigger. I get that too.
BX shared his thoughts on Canelo Alvarez's comments about Terence Crawford, noting that Canelo seemed to downplay Crawford's achievements, perhaps to set the stage for a potential fight. BX highlighted Crawford's response to critics who claim he hasn't faced top opponents, pointing out that those fighters were notable until Crawford dismantled them. This reflects Crawford's dominance, making top-tier opponents appear average. BX emphasized that Crawford seeks no excuses or stipulations, such as a rehydration clause, because he wants to prove he's the best without limitation. Crawford's willingness to face challenges head-on underscores his confidence and pound-for-pound greatness.
And, he's taking on all smoke.
Look, it'd be remiss of me not to talk about the pound-for-pound #1 in the world, Terence Crawford. Always making headlines these days. He's cemented his legacy. I think certified Hall of Famer whenever he wraps it up. Stepped up in weight, won another world title last time out. Now they're talking about this fight with Canelo Alvarez. It was interesting to see the comments from Canelo on how he sort of assessed Bud Crawford's career. I almost feel after the Spence fight that was like an exclamation point on everything he's done, maybe from the critics who never gave him credit, but it almost seems like Canelo was downplaying his achievements. What do you make of that? Is that to build a fight? Because it sells itself.
Well, I'm gonna tell you like this. I think Crawford rebuttal was everybody always say, he hasn't fought nobody, or everybody that he fought was a no-name. But I'm gonna tell you like this, what Crawford said. Well, they was something until Crawford fought him. So obviously he's doing a great job because he's making everybody look normal.
Not everyone, like when they go against Canelo, I don't think there's anyone else in boxing who you would ask and say this is a possible task for, but for Crawford, because of his pound-for-pound abilities, and apparently no rehydration clause. Am I hearing that right? He wants full smoke at that weight.
Let's go, man. That's what Crawford wants. He wants to show the world that he's the best. So, and why put stipulations in there when you know that you can be the best? So let's go test ourselves.
Look, I appreciate you taking this time. We don't get to speak all the time, so it's good to get you over here, and maybe we'll catch up later in fight week, but I appreciate you. Thank you.
All right.
Dan Rafael discussed the long-awaited fight between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford. noting that it had been a topic of conversation among fans. And analyst for quite some time, he credited promoter Eddie Hearn for making the fight happen. Rafael also mentioned that Canelo expressed a desire for this showdown, though he felt there was a slight downturn in Canelo's attitude towards it. Canelo, known for his business savvy mindset, is also seeking a big financial reward from the bout. Rafael's analysis underscores both the excitement and the financial motivations surrounding the highly anticipated clash. Canelo Alvarez doesn't have many middleweight opponents who can capture the same level of public attention as Terence Crawford. Crawford's unique skills, reputation, and allure make this fight incredibly intriguing.
In May, I've read somewhere that Canelo has shortlisted Crawford for the May fight, his fight in May. Dan, what's happening?
Yeah, listen, I think it's just a fluid situation. I don't think there's anything definitive one way or the other at this point. I mean, it's not a secret that that's a fight that's been discussed by a lot of us and by a lot of people in the sport for quite a while. Certainly, it's a fight that Turki Al-Sheikh from Saudi Arabia has shown a lot of interest in. And of course, if it's going to get made, someone's going to have to put up a lot of guaranteed money. And he's probably the person that's going to do it. He's obviously been working closely with Terence Crawford. He was involved with Terence Crawford's last fight that took place in August when he fought Israel Madrimov. It's obviously a fight that Terence Crawford has been very vocal about wanting. Now, Canelo hasn't ever said he wanted the fight, kind of downplayed it to a certain degree. But it wasn't that long ago. I don't know, maybe a couple of months ago, he was doing an appearance and he was asked about it and he didn't close the door on it. In the past, he sort of like closed the door on it and was like, I'm not interested. He's like, listen, I'll talk to anybody and listen to what they have to say about the deal. Any kind of deal. So in my mind, that sort of at least cracked open the door to have the conversation. Like he wasn't just saying, forget it, in terms of working with Turki or anybody else. So I think that Canelo is a smart person in terms of his boxing, but also in terms of his business. And when he looks around at the landscape and he wants to make a huge amount of money, like all top fighters or any fighter for that matter, and he looks and sees, who can I fight where I can make the biggest score, you know, in a big time
Steve
fight.
Nelson explained that fans believe Terence Crawford should fight a true 168-pounder like David Benavidez to solidify his legacy. But the eats it suggestion doesn't make sense strategically. Nelson emphasized that Crawford is motivated by legacy and financial gain. He labeled the idea of Crawford fighting certain opponents as an advanced cherry pick, suggesting that while it may seem like a bold move, it strategically avoids risk by targeting fights that could favor Crawford in terms of size, style, or public perception. This reflects debates over balancing meaningful matchups with career-defining financial and legacy opportunities.
Steve Nelson just said, and I'm paraphrasing because you guys heard it, link will be in the description. He just told you out his own mouth, he's like, fans are saying that Crawford should fight David Benavidez or a true 168-pounder. Doesn't make sense. Bud is after legacy, and then he said, and money. So this proves why I don't want to see this particular fight like some of y'all. He just told you. So this is what I call an advanced cherry pick. Now, I know some people, you're going to start crying. The reason I say advanced, now, it's not an advanced, it's not a cherry pick in the normal sense of like, you know, because this would be an accomplishment if Bud can defeat somebody at a higher weight class without acclimating, right? So it's not the traditional cherry pick, but it is still an advanced, or this is what I'm calling it, an advanced cherry pick, because his own teammate and friend Steve Nelson is telling you there's no reason for Bud to fight a true 168-pounder. He started off by saying Canelo Alvarez started off smaller, like a welterweight earlier in his career at 54, and then made his way up to 68. So that lets me know the mentality from Team Crawford is Canelo, we know he has shown signs of slippage and being a little bit older.
On Impulsive, Logan Paul and his team discussed why Canelo's claim about Crawford is off the mark. Terence: Crawford acknowledged Canelo Alvarez as a strong, skilled fighter, calling him a big boy in the ring. However, Crawford emphasized that boxing ultimately comes down to stepping up and fighting, suggesting that greatness is proven through action and the willingness to face the toughest challenges head-on. Showbiz the Adult broke down why Canelo, Alvarez's claim about Terence Crawford having just one big win is off the mark. While it's true Errol Spence Jr. was Crawford's biggest win, Showbiz pointed out that Crawford has several notable victories that cement his legacy.